Hey, I know I haven't made a video in a while, but anyways, this is the side of this. And I'm gonna go back to video games on this video for a while because I've seen a lot of Nintendo hater Switch videos that have been wrong, and a lot of people who love their well, everybody who's loved their Nintendo Switch getting all their information wrong. Well, most of the information wrong on both sides, and I've come to the conclusion that you're all fucking idiots. The Nintendo Switch, I mean, don't get me wrong, I mean, it sucks. And I'm not getting one. Ever. But there is no fucking. Okay, let me explain why the Nintendo Switch sucks. It's not because of the of the cartridges, even though they're proving problems for the Nintendo already, which is not a shocker. Or the fact that they're classifying it as a handheld, so Nintendo has two handhelds out right now, which means they're no longer a console making company. But everybody's like, but Nintendo's not in the same thing. They make video games and they put it on their selective consoles. You dumbass. That puts them in the fucking same industry as it all, as all the rest. Just like when Mattel made the Hyperskin, that was a fucking console. Trying to say that it's a children's toy is a stupid ass thing. It ran CDs, it ran video games that you loaded into a fucking console. It just had that little extra scan thing, like what Nintendo has with their Wii U and their Switch and their 3DS, because they got, well, sort of a different scan device on there, but it still had it on there. And it fucking had two controllers on it. So the Mattel's fucking Hyperscan was classified as a gaming console because and not only that, all their games were rated M for mature. I'm not joking. Go look at the so-called toy of the Mattel Hyperscan. There's not one game that was made for kids. Just because it looks like a toy to you doesn't mean that it's classified. And if you want to continue classifying it, fine. Stay in denial and keep your head in the fucking ground and up your ass for as long as you like. Actually, all the Hyperscan games were rated teen for teens. So, when you were rating it for children only, none of its games were rated for children under the age of, I believe, 10. But every single one of them was rated for anybody over the age of 14. All of them. Nintendo, they made consoles, but, you know, the reason why the Wii U wasn't classified as a console, you people, because it didn't have high enough resolutions. But yet you're going to register the Switch as the greatest console because it doesn't have high enough resolutions. God, you assholes make no sense. And you all complain that the Wii U didn't have enough hard drive space, but you're happy with the hard drive space on the Switch because it doesn't have enough hard drive space. Just wow. I mean, as much as you hate the Wii U, you can at least hook up 2 terabyte. I mean, two terabyte hard drives, adding it up to 4 terabytes. With the Nintendo Switch, you can only hook up like 128 gigabyte hard drive. SD cards because the 1 terabyte SD card isn't out yet and probably won't be out until after the Wii U. But you're all like, I can hook up 1 terabyte hard drives. See this block of air? That's 1 terabyte hard drive. Watch me as I put it in. I know it doesn't exist and you're just looking at nothing, but that's what I put in. Nothing. And of course, that 32 gigs that's inside your Switch has all been eaten up by the operating system. And yet the Wii U, had had another flash drive inside of it for the operating system, and then gave you an extra 32 gigs to do whatever you want with it. Not exactly the most optimal and greatest solution, but it was far more better built than the Switch. But no, the Switch is better because the Switch is not the Wii U. The Switch sucks because we had extra hard drive space. That and this one we have to make compromises just like we had to do with the Wii. That's so much more better. The, I like it because now I'm getting raw. Now I'm getting a stick with a bunch of spikes being shoved up my ass instead of you know, instead of actually getting something that I can actually use. Way to fucking go, dumbasses. And yes, this is a rant video because, of course, the real reason why you're all saying this is that Nintendo's gonna go out of business and they'll be gone forever. If they don't sell Switches, buy as many as you can. Nintendo will be gone. Which isn't true because Nintendo won't go away. Because guess what? The money they get from the Pokemon franchise and all the other, uh, from all the other shit that they have, and the licenses, actually, their licenses in generals, they get tons of fucking money out of that. Even though people complained that they should have sold those licenses to Sony when they came out with the Sony PlayStation, because when they had the Sony PlayStation, Sony wanted the all the license, all the Nintendo license for themselves and to take it away from Nintendo, and Nintendo said no, and the two companies split up, and we now have the PlayStation. Of course, people are saying that they should have gone with the deal, and well, then Nintendo would have no license, and then they would be truly out of business. But Nintendo fans, they don't know what they're fucking saying half the times. I'm sorry to harp on the Nintendo Switch. It's just there's so many problems with this thing that the Wii U could do, but everybody hated the Wii U because of one stupid controller, which you could easily swap out for a better one. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch controller is so much more better, but more expensive. Even though the fucking PlayStation 4 controller has more functionality than the Switch controller, and has a functioning gyroscope, microphone, and a touch pad, which nobody uses, but the PS4 controller has all the same functionality that the Switch controller has, but yet it has more. We're in opposite day here, people. I mean, don't forget that when the PlayStation 3 first came out, and they said that they had to take out rumble control so they could put it in their six axis, which we all was bullshit because the Wii controller had all that shit in a more smaller controller. Well, here's the funny thing. Now we're fast forward today, and the extra Switch controller that you pay a shit ton of more money, well, $60 for or $70 for. Well, the PS4 controller has all of that, and it's cheaper, and it has a speaker and a fucking a speaker, headphone jack, and a fucking touchpad. Yeah, opposite day. But no, no, no. Your Nintendo Switches are so much more better than anything. I mean, I've had people telling me that the Nintendo Switch is more powerful than the PlayStation 4 or even the PlayStation 4 Pro. Really? Really, you're that stupid? I mean, all you have to do is look at the ports of L.A. Noire in the Doom game and realize that they're not exactly as high performance as they are on the fucking PS4 or even the PS4 Pro or even the Xbox One X. Even though I hate the Xbox. And let's not forgetting that USB-C port, the port that you guys are complaining, yes, it's improperly plated at the bottom, so you can't put any extra at the bottom and charge it up at the same time, which is an idiotic move. But that port is doing everything. It's allowing a USB 3 port, which I'm going to get back to later, and power supply. as well as streaming the video through an HDMI port. Now, the problem is that the HDMI port going through that USB C port, which is 2.0 by the way, and it has to downgrade it, which is why you have downgraded videos and on your television, and you have frame rate problems hitting your Switch when in dock mode because it's going through a USB 2.0 C port through an HDMI port, which has to downgrade itself to so that it can read the USB C port shit, and so the video image is downgraded. It's literally downgraded because of that port. And then, not only that, it's also be sharing the power port, which isn't too much of a drag for USB, but that's happening. And then you got the USB 3 port, which is there for no fucking reason whatsoever. They just added that onto the dock saying, look, we got a USB 3 port there, right there, on the Switch. No, it's not on the Switch, it's on the dock, which has to mean that the USB 3 port has to downgrade itself to a USB port. So if you hook up a device or a hard drive, that hard drive has to downgrade itself to 2.0 to work with the Switch. Because it doesn't matter what the port is on the dock. It matters what the port is on the Switch itself. So that USB 3 port is really only good for maybe powering up a few devices. But I'm hearing all these people complain. I'm hearing like Nintendo Switch haters saying, "Oh, I don't like the Switch because I don't want to see these other games or remasters." Well, every fucking console has, even PC has a shit ton of remasters on there. I mean, hell, Blizzard remastered, StarCraft 1 for the PC and Mac. It's not exactly an argument. The argument is the hardware problems. And of course, you're having problems with the Joy-Cons, disconnecting every once in a while because one of the Joy-Cons has a connecting problem. That's a real problem. At least that's issued somewhat. But then you got all these but some of these Nintendo Switch haters and some of these fucking Nintendo fanboys, you know, ignoring everything else that I've said in the video. Now, for the fanboys, I understand. Of course, they're going to ignore it. And then you got these people who are like huge Wii U haters, but they're going to love their Switch, so they're going to ignore simple facts. Like with the Wii U, you can hook up two 2 terabyte hard drives, adding up to 4 terabytes. But with the Switch, you can only hook up 128 gigabyte SD card, one at a time. Because when you fill that up, you got to take that out and put another one in, and you're not going to get video streaming services that you had with the Wii U, because the Wii U had Netflix and Hulu and all that. Switch doesn't, and they're not coming because they have to come in as apps, and they're going to only be put on one of those 128 gigabyte SD cards. So if you want to, if you want to watch Hulu or Netflix or whatever, and you're playing on a game on an SD card that doesn't have it, you're gonna have to take out that SD card and put in another SD card. Then you're gonna get your Hulu or Netflix, and it's gonna be a pain in the ass. So you're gonna have to treat your Hulu and your streaming services just like you do with all the other games that you put on SD cards, and that's going to be a bitch. And if the rumors are true about the 1 terabyte hard drive, the 1 terabyte SD card maybe becoming out fatter than what they expected, that's going to mean that they're going to have to redesign a whole new Switch just to get used with the 1 terabyte SD cards. There are some rumors, but I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. And the shit gets even more complicated because there are people saying they can't stream. Well, given 32 gigabytes on the main system, and most of it being taken up by the operating system, they only could put two functionalities on there. One, record video onto an SD card, or two, put in a streaming service. They went with putting in the capture video card shit, and like the PS4 and Xbox One has. But when it's recording the video, it's gonna go to the SD card because there's no way in fucking hell it's gonna fit on the Switch with only like what a few megabytes of information left after the operating system already ate up most of the 32 gigabyte hard drive space. And there ain't gonna be no video streaming. Being able to stream from your Nintendo Switch onto Twitch and all that. That's just not going to fucking happen. And Netflix and Hulu, that's going to become an independent app that you're going to have to put it on another SD card. And when you fill up the SD card, you're going to have to use another SD card. And then when you want to go back to your Netflix, you're going to have to switch them all back and forth. I mean, it ain't going to be like, a separate, one couple, like 1 gig of hard drive space being used for the operating system, and then the rest of the 32 being used for whatever the hell you want, and then you being able to hook up two, 2 terabyte hard drives. No, yeah, uh, and adding it up to 4 terabytes. You just can't do that. Look, I didn't really like the Wii U, and I've had my complaints too, but the Switch is not an improvement. It's a downgrade. And most of you people, even you Wii U haters, have got to get that through your thick skulls. And this video's gone on way longer than it should be. I'm done with my rant. I ain't getting a Nintendo Switch. Not until they made improvements. But I'll talk to you later. See ya.